Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup. A corrupt corporate Democrat returns to his throne in Congress as former Congressman Tom Suozzi won the special election in New York's 3rd District last night in my backyard where I grew up in Nassau County. I grew up in Massapequa. Suozzi's district is right next to Massapequa, so I know the area well. We'll get to that in 1 second, but reminder, sign up for free to Status Coup's Substack to get our brand new newsletter, The Reality Room, uncovering all the news the corporate media is covering up. New edition is live right now this morning on our Status Coup Substack. You can read and share for free. Now, getting back to Suozzi's victory, won't go into detail. There's a lot of media hot takes. Most of them are wrong. He won because he already had served in Congress in the area for several terms. He was a name brand. Everybody on Long Island knew him. He had previously won among Democrats, independents, and some Republicans. Basically, your dime a dozen corrupt Democrat, loves special interest, big donor money, and he ran further to the right of, or tried to run further to the right of the Republican on immigration. That's why he won. It really doesn't have major implications for the presidential election, despite the media trying to push that message. But to me, really, one of the big takeaways I saw had nothing to do with this election. Did you see AOC on CNN last night? Buckle up. If you volunteered for her in 2018, if you knocked on doors, you donated, tell me if this is the same person. Let's take a look.
President Biden won this district by 8 points in 2020. Now, former Congressman Tom Suozzi, a Democrat, is trying to get it back. But he's distanced himself from Biden. He didn't want his endorsement. He didn't want him to campaign with him. Do you think that's okay if that's what swing battleground district Democrats need to do to win? Well,
you know, I think our main prerogative is to win the House back. I know that former Representative Suozzi, he knows his district, he knows his territory. But I also think we can acknowledge the fact that we don't have to be afraid to be Democrats either. As you mentioned, President Biden won this seat by 8 points. That is not 1 or 2 or 3. That is a significant margin. And we also can run up the numbers with an enormous amount of enthusiasm, especially in a special election like this, which is really about a base race between the two parties, getting out your most enthusiastic voters, especially on a snowstorm like this. And that's with messages on everything from abortion rights to making sure that we're having just solutions and comprehensive solutions on immigration that don't also have to just be on the defense.
So Mazi Pilip, the Republican running, has tried to paint Suozzi as a member of the Squad, which is your progressive group. In their debate, Suozzi distanced himself from you and the Squad. He said, for you to suggest that I'm a member of the Squad is about as believable as you being a member of George Santos's volleyball team, unquote. What do you make of her trying to tar him as a member of the Squad?
I mean, I would agree with Tom Suozzi, the idea that we are, that we're part of the same kind of cadre in Congress is incorrect. It's wrong. But that doesn't mean that we're not on the same team. We're part of a Democratic coalition that's a broad base. But I think it also shows that Mazi's desperate. You don't go for those enormous reaches that are frankly so laughable, especially to the people of Queens and Long Island who know Tom Suozzi. He had 80% name ID going into this race.
Boy, I'll tell you, that is a far, far cry from this.
Start bringing the ruckus on the Democratic Party. That is our job. The Democratic Party does not do more unless it is pushed. So we need to push them. And they don't like it. I think I annoy them, but but that is our job. That's our job.
We went from bringing the ruckus to the Democratic Party to I'm on the same team with the corrupt corporate Democrats, and he knows his territory. So, if he needs to run as a right winger on immigration, that's okay with me. Listen, I'm not trying to be gratuitous. I'm not trying to pick on AOC. I just happened to see her on CNN last night. A lot of people push, and batter AOC politically for clicks. I'm not trying to do that. I want to be fair. However, this is false advertising. When you run, let's bring the ruckus to the Democratic Party. Let me also remind you, this is also what she said on the night she won election in 2018. Tell me if this sounds like the same person that was on CNN last night.
Because the message that we sent the world tonight is that it's not okay to put donors before your community.
That's
The message that we sent tonight is that improved and expanded Medicare for all, health care for every single person in America is what we deserve as a nation. What we proved tonight in sometimes the deep midnight and darkness that it feels in our political environment, that there is still hope for this nation. That is what you have given every person in this country. You have given this country hope. You have given this country proof that when you knock on your neighbor's door, when you come to them with love, when you let them know that no matter your stance, you are there for them, that we can make change.
Boy, that is quite the metamorphosis. What are we, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, in 6 years? Almost makes you think, maybe she didn't really buy all this. Maybe she didn't really believe all this. Maybe she was just caught up in the moment. Because I'm seeing, to quote Elizabeth Warren, somebody who has become a player in the game. I'm seeing a miniature Nancy Pelosi, maybe a little edgier. And again, Tom Suozzi 1 has nothing to do with AOC, but how are you supposedly in Congress, like the most progressive representative of Congress, and you're sitting on there pushing this, the Democratic Party is a big tent. Gotta love the big tent messaging you always hear from corporate Democrats, meaning we're a big tent. We got socialists and commies, and we got right-wingers who are anti-choice, who love taking money from, all the usual corporate suspects, and who don't want to raise your minimum wage or give you health care. We're all a big, happy family, and as AOC called it, we're a team. What is she actually accomplishing in Congress? And to be clear, in her district, she has done some good things. She has gotten money for vulnerable communities, etc. So as a congresswoman for the 14th district, she has delivered. However, you didn't really run under the message that you're only going to represent the 14th district of New York. She ran along with other squad members that you are, and we already saw it, bringing the ruckus to the Democratic Party on a national level. But you're literally doing interviews where it's very hard to distinguish you from Nancy Pelosi, from Elizabeth Warren, from, dare I say, I don't know, dare I say, Steny Hoyer. I didn't even hear Medicare for All in that interview. I didn't hear anything about the border crisis is ginned up by the Republicans. Didn't hear that. Are there issues at the border? Yes. Is it, Armageddon like the Republicans are pushing, which a lot of voters are biting hook, line, and sinker, and we have no actual opposition party to push back on that message, to actually say, well, a lot of people are coming to America and trying to get in because we are destroying their countries through the drug war that we have pushed, through elevating dangerous cartels, through sanctions on a lot of these countries in Central and South America. Yeah, they're fleeing violence that we helped create. You don't really hear AOC saying that, at least in that interview. Again, is it all on AOC? No. I would tell you a lot of the other squad progressive members have basically marched along with the Democratic Party on a lot of terrible things. You don't hear as much about Medicare for All from them. They're not agitating their party. You have a lot of keyboard warrior stuff going on, where the most aggressive action they take is messages on Twitter. Honestly, the most aggressive squad member has been Rashida Tlaib, particularly on the issue of Israel committing genocide in Gaza and her calling it that. AOC will not call it that. And again, I'm trying to be fair because I'm not doing this video just to gratuitously for no reason, gang up on AOC. But if this is the most progressive representation in Congress, or so we were told, we as a progressive movement are in trouble. And that's why I keep pushing. We got to shift to outside of electoral politics strategies. That doesn't mean don't vote. It doesn't mean if you want to get involved with somebody you think is progressive running for Congress or on the local level, have at it. If you want to get involved with third-party candidacies, Jill Stein or Cornel West running as an independent, if you want to get involved in building a third party on your local level, federally, whatever, do what you want. If you still believe there's, the best way is doing it within the Democratic Party from a progressive perspective, and you think there's a candidate that's running that will not become an AOC or squad members that obviously don't have the backbone to challenge the Democratic Party, have at it. But to me, and I interviewed volunteers for AOC. I interviewed people who door knocked. I interviewed people who donated, who phone banked, etc. This is not the same person. Not the same person. She has a massive, massive army of followers that she could be pushing back on this propaganda and this immigration message. She could be pushing back on the Tom Suozzis of the world that buy into this bullshit. Again, it's not that it's perfect at the border, but it is not the Armageddon apocalyptic situation that the Republicans have propped up and that the Democrats and Biden are following to the right, hook, line, and sinker, to the point that they are pushing this bipartisan border bill that the Republicans rejected at Trump's beck and call and order that is very right-wing and is basically something Ronald Reagan would dream of in the 1980s or Bill Clinton in the 90s. I don't know what else to say other than bringing the ruckus became do what you got to do to win. We're all on the same team, us progressives and corrupt corporate Democrats like Tom Suozzi.